Well, I hate to interrupt the lively conversation that's going on. We'll get underway.
Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Hey, Rotary friends and Rotary ways, help us to serve thee all our days.
One of our newer members, Creole Carmichael, to introduce our visiting Rotarians and guests.
So our Rotary guests today, we have Suzanne Dubé and Ruli Siwati, Lima Pactus, and Abby Clancy. And we have Deborah Hunt, who is a guest of Patrick Hunt, and Gabrielle Lopez, and she's a guest of Marley Sanchez.
I'd like to invite Mickey Fleming to introduce our guest speakers for today.
Thank you, President Alley. Honored guests, fellow Rotarians, it gives me great pleasure today to introduce Suzanne Dubé and Ruli Setiawati. They come to us from Pearson College. Suzanne has a background in professional fundraising in the charitable sector in Victoria for almost 20 years. When a position at Pearson College came up, she jumped on the opportunity. Ruli is a first-year student at Pearson College. She comes to us from Indonesia. Besides mastering a difficult academic international bachelor laureate course program and getting comfortable with English, she's going to share with us today about her experience in school here in Canada.
So I will give an overview of Pearson College, and then Ruli, I'll give the microphone to Ruli to talk about what it's actually like to be a student from Indonesia studying in Canada at Pearson College. It was an idea that sprung from Kurt Hahn's educational philosophies of bringing people together from many nations to help build cultural understanding. And they started this with NATO officers. And they thought this worked so well with NATO officers from all countries. They thought, how much better would it be to bring young people together to study from all over the world while they're still quite steeped in their cultures, but young enough and impressionable enough to have their minds changed and be affected by knowing one another. So this is how the Atlantic College, United World College began 50 years ago. And then Lester B. Pearson visited Atlantic College, and Lester B. Pearson, of course, you know, is an esteemed Prime Minister of Canada and Nobel Peace Prize winner. And he was so impressed with this model of education, he felt very strongly that we should have one in Canada. And he set about finding the land which we are now on, which was Department of National Defence land. So Pearson, many of you will know, is located right here in beautiful British Columbia, out in Metchosin. And we do welcome visitors to campus, so if you feel like taking a lunch time in a different location, you can come for a tour, and for $15 a person, you can sit down and have lunch. We just put you at the tables with the students. We let the students know, that there's guests coming and that they'll be joining their tables, and so it's a wonderful experience to come and meet people, these young people from all over the world. There are 14 and soon to be 15 United World Colleges. The next one is opening in Suzhou, our sister city in China. And Pearson continues to be a very unique and vital Canadian institution. Our mission is to make education a force to unite people, nations, cultures for peace and a sustainable future. We accept students regardless of their politics, their religion, their ethnicity, language, gender, and financial means. We are 70% funded through philanthropy, now with some fees and a little bit of government funding, although you can imagine we don't get any conservative funding with a name like Lester B. Pearson. We've not had any federal funding for some time. But so we really rely on philanthropy. I guess I would be remiss, my role as a legacy giving officer, I would be remiss in not mentioning that a gift and an estate is a really great way to help the institutions that you feel are important. And you can also help Pearson by becoming a host family. please take my card and I can connect you. Our students need to be hosted through all the various holidays. We can't send them back to Indonesia and India and all the places they come from. It's too expensive. So we will look to the community to take them in while the college is closed. Thank you so much for your interest, and I'll pass this on to Ruli.
For my dad. So one day he went to his friend's daughter wedding, and parents talk about how their children are doing, and so he heard about one of his friend's daughter went to UWC in Italy, and so my dad started to ask what is it about, and like how do they apply, and like how's the process, and my dad really wants me to go abroad for studying, and especially university. And then, so I looked the website, and I did some research, and I decided to apply. And after a really long process, they said, you got this scholarship to Pearson. I came to Pearson, and so UWC mission is education makes a force to unite people, nation, and culture for peace and sustainable future. And I thought, well, this might be only a label or something. But then once I came to Pearson, well, it's really peace and sustainable school, and especially coming for a country which didn't really care about sustainable or like peace and stuff, and I learned a lot about sustainable thing, especially even in economics class. We learn not only about how money works, but also the negative externalities of building factors and stuff like that. And that really changed my mind and the way I think about how the world works and how we actually should think about the surroundings as well. And by living with 160 students from 82 countries and living in a room which is consists of other 3 students, and all of the students, they try to manage so that each student from each continent can live together, and it really builds my sense of community.
What did you personally find most difficult in adjusting to Canada?
Well, the cold, obviously, but other than that. But I feel really lucky because it's not as cold as I thought. But this winter break, I went to Alberta with my roommates. My roommate is from Alberta, Egypt, and Chile. So, I just came with her to her house and then spent Christmas there. And then it's really cold.
I'd like to formally thank Suzanne and also Ruli for reminding us about how amazing Pearson College really is. And I think we should do a field trip for lunch. So, in appreciation for both of your time today, our Rotary Club has restored the eyesight for a 75-year-old lady named Katharina in Kerala. I'd like to invite our President-elect, Brian Findlay, to come on up and tell us a little bit about his last weekend here.
Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Rotarians, good afternoon. My last weekend here, I don't know what that really means. Ali was really referring to was the Heads Conference that I attended, which was felt like almost the last weekend. It was quite a grinding event. As I say, this is Rotary. It takes ordinary people and inspires them to do extraordinary things. So what did I take away from the meeting, other than what? There was lots of raw information on how to do things the Rotary way and how to inspire and so forth. But the real value and takeaway for me personally was I met a lot of people. And the networking opportunity at this, I was there with 700 Rotarian friends, and you get to sit with somebody different at each meeting. My main goal is to have fun in 2015 and 16. We're going to make this a fun place. We're going to make it a place that you want to come and have lunch. You want to make it a place where you can come and meet somebody and pick up some information that can help you, or that you can share some information that will help somebody else. These are all good things.
God save the Queen.